Before we started on our painting, I made a very big point of the importance of doing a composition study. And this is my composition study. I'll give you a proper photograph of the composition study so it's more visible, but I can see it very nicely right next to me and right next to my canvas. And in fact, the color beginning should be based more on your composition study than even on the real flowers, because the first step is we're going to do the color beginning, then we're going to do the line drawing based on our composition study, and then we're going to do light and dark scumbling with colors also based on our composition study. And then when it's done, then we take the study away and we work from the real flowers. Then these flowers can change. Flowers die and they fade. I had poppies in there in the beginning. I couldn't find any poppies in Cape Town, which is my bad luck. So I got some nice roses, and that should be nice because they're similar in color. But this is the shape that I want. That's my shape. That's my compositional shape. That is the idea behind the painting, the concept behind the painting. So there I wrote that I saw this color here as gray and green, and number 3 tone, which is a pale tone. So I'm going to try with that. So I'm going to take some green paint. This is just turpentine now. Some green paint and mix it here. Not in the bowl. It's nice to have a bowl, but I wouldn't trust myself with a porcelain bowl on this thing which can fall over so easily. So I'll start with the green. Make sure that you get rid of all lumps of paint in here, otherwise it's just a total mess. I'm not mixing nearly as much color as I did for our other one, for the plain one, because the plain one, the basic one, very important that it covers the whole thing and it creates a whole cloudscape here. So I start with the green there and drag it across gently. That will drip all over my knees, all over my palette. That really doesn't matter. So the thing is, always start, and if you have, like I have now, lines, always go over the lines. Then pick up enough paint to do a second one, and the idea is that the second one must merge into the first one, and the third one must be merging into the second one. So it works like that. That's the way it works. So that's all fine. When it runs down here, too much down here, then you can catch it with a cloth. Don't use toilet paper for these kind of jobs. Use a nice cloth. An old pillowcase is great for that. But now, I wrote there grey green, and here I wrote lavender grey and a little bit darker. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to introduce a little bit of lavender color here, and it will automatically darken because I'm not adding extra turpentine, so it will be darker. Might be too dark, and that will come all the way down to the base of the painting. So there, like that. Whoa, lavender grey, yeah, not bad. Maybe a little bit more turpentine there. There. So it must again merge into that. It must flow into that. These two colors must merge together seamlessly. And then on the other side, this has got to be a bit more lavender, so I'll add some more crimson in here. See, now it's starting to be playful and trying to be creative. And that I'll bring down all the way to the bottom of the canvas in exactly the same way as I started at the top. On the left-hand side, I didn't like lavender grey. Now some more of this lovely reddish glowing color. I think it doesn't look as lovely as it really is, because studio lighting is not as good as daylighting, as daylight is. And on the left-hand side here, there, I wrote down yellow, grey, and paler. So I'm going to pick up some yellow, just mix it into this dirty color, remembering always Titian's lovely rule: dirty color is good color. We are a bit scared of dirt, but it's great stuff. Yeah, nice dirty color, and it seems to be merging nicely into that. I hope it does, and it seems to be merging nicely into the one on the right. Everything's merging. Now this is a more advanced color beginning. I forgot about something. You can, when you try to do your color beginning a little bit more advanced, you can leave blank spots on your canvas, like that, that, and that. But you don't need to, because it's actually very nice so they're not there. Right, now I can see that I've got my flowers, particularly the white flowers there. That is the lightest spot in the whole painting, the flower on the left-hand side of the painting. And I'm going to see where it is. This is still color beginning. and I wipe out that white flower, like that. It won't come out nicely, so I take some pure turpentine, careful not too much, there, and put the pure turpentine there, and then wipe it. That'll be much whiter. Okay, that's good enough. And then there's a pale bit of ribbon just on the side here, just near the end here. I'll just put it like that, and it'll run. I don't mind it running. In fact, I hope it will run. A little bit too much, but that's fine. Then we've got the deepish blue, which I'm not going to enter now, but the deepish blue will be the ultramarine there. And I am going to put some in, but I'm not going to put it to a tonality of 10 with 9, which is just about pitch black. I'm just going to put the blue in as a ghostly presence there. Round about, in my painting, lower than halfway up there, round about there. Oh, that's a nice blue. And drag it down to round about there where it'll merge with the ribbon. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And if it merges like that, if the one merges with the other, that is just such a wonderful bonus. In fact, that's why I've said that the color beginning is the most beautiful stage of your painting. It is never as beautiful as this again. And in fact, you could, oopsie, too much. I'm going to take this blue color and merge it into the blue ribbon, which will be a bit better. Otherwise, it's just a little bit too much of the blue. Wipe it like that. Okay, if it merges in there nicely, that will be great. Then I had some beautiful red orange at the top. I'll try for that. I'll mix it in a separate spot on my palette. And it's going to go on a little bit more generously. It's going to go on a little bit more like paint, like that. But with luck and a turpentine, luck and turpentine, that's not a bad title for a book. The turpentine will still merge into the other colors. Might not merge as much as I want to. And then I've got the pale, pale yellow, which happens to be there with my rose. And I'll put the pale yellow there like that. And that'll merge with the red nicely, there's no problem with that. And it might even merge with the white on the left. But now I must be careful because my wash is beginning to dry, and that's a problem. So I would like this to merge with that. That will be very nice. And I've got something next here as a blue-gray. And that will be for the shadowy bit of the white flower that's there in that corner. The shady bit. And this again, if I take it like that, it will merge into this. I don't want it to trickle down there too much. If it trickles down there too much, it'll be a shame. But if it does a little bit, it'll be a bonus. So all the accidents that can happen are to your advantage. There is no accident which is a bad accident. Not in painting, probably not in life either, because we have a false concept of what accidents are. We think that when some incident happens in the street and two cars collide, that that's an accident, but it's not, it's an incident. Okay, I think this is time for me to stop. What I'm going to try and do is soften, just with this thing, I'm going to try and soften the rose at the top, which is a little bit overly bold. Soften it like that by smearing it a little bit with a cloth. And like that. Now, this is not necessary. Nothing is necessary. Does it work? And for the moment, that seems to work okay. Do another tiny wipe away there. There. Now it can dry. But as I did in the previous demonstration of doing a color wash, a color beginning, this thing dries best if you lower it to about that angle. What is that, about 10 degrees? Now I can't really lower it here unless I put a book in here. I can't really lower that thing over down to the side, so I have to put it down on top of something. Okay, I'll put a couple of tubes of paint here. There. If I can get it there. Yeah, that's really not bad. On the little ledge of my easel. That can dry by itself now. Where's that little bit of cloth that I had? That's what I did to pinks and reds there work very nicely, so I want to try the similar thing here. Smear it together a little bit and blend this away a little bit. Okay, that's a bad accident. That's okay, it happens if you mess around with your color wash. The thing with your color wash is leave it alone. There's some bad drying bits there, it's fine. This whole painting is going to be painted over later on, but it probably won't look as fresh and as delicate and as pretty as it looks now. So that's it, that's our color beginning, that's this next step. The next step after this only, will be to take this drawing and to draw it in here. Only after this, we first do this. I could have been more generous with my wash. In fact, I think I want to just do something to it. Give me that please, Anne. The palette. I could have been more generous with my blue, with my pale blue. This one. It's probably too dry already, but I'm going to try. I would like this blue to come right out to there and right out to there. And now I must just leave it to run and settle in its own way. The best thing that you can do when you apply a wash like that is walk away from it. So you can mess about, but please don't do what I'm doing now. Don't do it. It's very, very, very risky and it's very bad. You can do this while your paint is wet. But when your paint is half wet, you'll just make a mess. And in fact, what I could do here is just put a turpentine on this brush and to do the same thing with turp, so it'll run down. The running and that, all of that, the drying technique, it's so beautiful. It's like watching autumn leaves or petals of flowers drying on the ground. It's really nice.